doing things and you don't know what in the heck are you doing.
Pretty much all the time.
Pretty much.
My life.
Well, this week I was looking at this National Geographic. It's called The New Universe. You all see this? Well, when you said today that we needed to do a word, the first word that came into my mind was universe, right here. And I showed up here today with these two books, and one of them has Flying Through the Universe in the spiritual realm, and then this is Flying Through the Universe in the physical. But I didn't put that together when I picked up the two books to come here today. So I'm telling you that the Lord just gave me a revelation today about something. While I was just sitting over there waiting. It just dawned on me something. Anyway, I wanted to show you this. You know how you look at things through a tiny microscope and you can see all this life? And you look but you don't, when you look at the water, you don't see it as anything necessarily living. It's just water. Or you look out at the stars at night, and it looks to me like the same stars that have always been there ever since I can remember. You know, there's the Big Dipper and all that kind of stuff, which I really am not, I don't know that much about stars, but I know certain stars appear at certain times. Well, Tanya and I were having a conversation about eggs this morning. Yeah, wasn't that interesting? And she said, you know, if you cook eggs and you cook them with too hot a fire, the yolk turns brown or green or something. Okay, so that means it cooked too fast. Someone else told me that when you hard-boiled eggs and you boiled them too long, you get kind of a green thing around the yolk. And what that reminds me of is that an egg is a living thing. It's living. And so if you abuse it, it's got a chemical reaction that happens with it. And sometimes we don't realize that everything around us is living. There's life in things. Everything is living, and it's not just stand, just a metal stand, piece of metal that doesn't have any life in it, but it's made up of little atoms and molecules and everything. Well, in this book, it just so happens on the universe it has a whole bunch of different planets and stars and things, and there's a picture of the world, which is the Earth, like this. See? Everybody see that? Okay, and then there's another one in here. This is a picture of the sun. See that? But the Earth is the only one that is mostly water. But when you take a drop of that water and magnify it, this is what's going on in that water.
One drop.
One drop of seawater, they said. And I'll read you a description. It says, just a little thing.
Get on the microphone, Terry.
It says, a splash of seawater magnified roughly 15 times teems with life. Bug-like copepods, long glassy arrowworms, cyanobacteria, rectangular algae called diatoms, fish eggs, and big-eyed larvae, larval crab the size of a grain of rice. So that's just in drop of seawater. But you know, we don't see that. When we look out at the stars, we see the stationary stars out there. When we look at the water, we see it. So it's kind of like we're seeing like this. It's like a funnel. We're in this part right here. But we look up and we see this expanse, but we don't see everything that's in there. When we look down at the water, we see all this water down here, but we don't see all the life that's teeming in there. So if we apply that to where we are on the earth, this was something that happened in 2002 with a star. Anybody that's looking with telescopes out in the stars, they saw this huge explosion in 2002. And you can kind of see this right here. It goes from smaller until it finally burst here. Okay? Went from smaller to larger until it burst right here. Can you see this? This was like May, September, October, and December. And this is what it did. It blew up. But in 2002, we didn't see that, you know, because you can't see it with the naked eye because it's so far out there. So it's like this huge life is going on out there, and we don't see it. Because I think, well, those stars have always been there, the water's always been there, but we don't realize that both places are just teeming with life that we can't see. So it is around us. Our eyes will only capture so much. And so that's why we really have to rely on the Spirit, because the Spirit will pick up these kinds of things. Well, as I was looking at this happening in 2002, someone told me that the music that I was playing was changing the stars. Some of the music sounds that I had. And I really think it was around this time of 2002. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily my music did this, but I'm just saying that what we're doing in our lives, even if it's digging dirt holes in the yard, it has a dramatic effect of everything around us. And just because I can't see it with my eyes right here doesn't mean that it's not happening. I only see just a very, very small part of what's even physically happening. Now, if I can't even see it physically, then certainly I'm not seeing it spiritually. Because you can't see the things of the Spirit with your eyes. And so much more we have to rely. Somebody was talking about waiting on the Lord and letting Him, trusting in Him. Trust in Him. We have to rely on Him. I think it was what you were sharing, Steve. And then this is a picture over, I think they said it was 11 days. 11-day exposure of the same spot. So if this was 11-day exposure, it made everything just a little bit blurry, so it showed more things up. And so this was, the Hubble telescope made the ultra deep field image of some 10,000 galaxies in the constellation Fornax. And the other objects are stars, but you can see galaxies and everything over an 11-day exposure of just outer space on a...
What's it all for? Are we all in a box? Or
See that?
Yeah, but each one of those is like a galaxy the size of ours.
Yes.
So how do you really not believe in extraterrestrial life? Right, so
Space is still expanding.
yeah. Incredible.
And then this is a picture of...
I don't think there is one.
This is a picture of just showing you how, we're this just small thing in this huge thing. These are people down here on the bottom. This is a telescope they're building to see further into outer space.
Mhm.
These are the people down here, little
Mhm.
tiny people.
Where?
Right down here. See these little people?
Where's that being built? Right, Arizona.
And listen, it's called an OWL. Overwhelmingly large telescope.
Mm.
OWL, overwhelmingly large. That's the name of the telescope. So, all of this stuff going on with each one of us individually, I think everybody's getting up here and sharing something that this massive, huge God is showing little individual us one at a time.
Mhm.
And we're impacting life around us,
Mhm.
where everything we do is impacting everything around us. And I guess that's probably why the Lord has me looking at this week about the universe. Because yes, the universe is big, but He's still, you know, it's like us looking at a little flea and trying to figure out what that little flea does, you know. So that's what I wanted to share.
Amen.